Yeah. So, well, we've said a lot of thank yous online, so I won't repeat them, but thank you to Holly particularly for also manning the show today and looking after it for you. What we really were going to sort of say is that we wanted to sort of, I guess, talk about the process of selecting people, selecting artists in the room. And for those that don't know, everyone was selected for a competition. So we had to kind of select everyone, whittle down 557 to 41 artists. And at the end of this, we have a very painful decision that we have to announce about 10 artists that we're going to take forward to another show. However, our relationship with the artists in this room won't stop at this point. It continues, it always does, and we hope that they continue to keep in touch with us, regardless of whether in a group show next year or not. And it's painful thing to have done. Actually, I wish we had decided not to do it because it's too painful. Yeah, so we whittled it down, and it was like this kind of onion of sort of healing and trying to sort of discover what this would become, and he was going to be part of this. And it was fascinating. It was like, Annabelle describes it as like a love affair. Like when we're sitting in the room, we were all sitting in the room, Alistair, David, you know, me, Graham and Annabelle, and sort of falling in love with things and falling out of love with things sometimes. And
yeah, it was a long 7-hour day. It was a very enjoyable 7-hour day, but I'm just going through each sort of batch of 100 perhaps, and just going through it and going through it, and people staying and staying, and that was a sort of love affair bit, because the more you looked at work, it would either you fall in love with it and you'd want to see more and be curious and want to know, or after 3 or 4 sessions you wouldn't, so that sort of carried on. And until we got to the last 100, and then to go from 100 down to 41 again was tough. That was the last 2 hours, and that was very tough. We all needed a drink after that. Yeah. Lots of people were within the process. It was a fantastic sort of debate, and people just sticking up with what they really loved, and the rest of the group listening. And so it was like having a sort of little art history lesson from every person who was the judges about sort of what they loved about a piece of work and why they wanted to keep it. And so by the end of the day, we all felt very tired, but it was fantastic. It was very privileged to have actually gone through those works.
Yeah. And we'll definitely go back to looking at some point as well.
And so then, in terms of curating the show, I think that what happened with those 41 works was that each one had been chosen for being an individual work. So then when you've got 41 individual works, as opposed to 41 that are chosen in a theme or have come together, how do you sort of do that? And the sort of joy of it was that in some senses, the show, we just kept finding
wonderful relationships.
Yes, and we allowed 2 days for it, but it was really done in a day or an afternoon.
Yeah, because by that point we'd also sat with them for quite a long time. We'd asked the images and things like that. But the things that we kind of wrote as we were curating this was, and themes that kind of spring up and interweave between in this room. I think the overall thing actually is there's an intimacy. That's what I think that the final kind of kernel of it is really. But there are things like time and pressure and preciousness, reversed and inverted and bound, and intimacy and mystery and otherness and noise and darkness and little worlds within worlds and precision, chaos, ladders, pits, doom, animals, spines, vertebraes, and animate, I couldn't even spell it right at the time, versus animates and absurd, the confusion of objects and precision and disorder and obsession and death and complexity and fragility and basically bonkers. So that's my curator. Done with colour pens just because they were the first thing that came to hand as we walked around the room and sort of slowly unveiled everything and found those things. But,
and a lot of people walked in and they sort of go, wow, such high quality work.
Yeah.
And like surprised. I don't know why they were surprised. We wouldn't have a high quality show.
Yeah.
But also that everything is very individual and nothing really goes with the next work, but somehow they work as a group fantastically. And they all have their individual voice.
Yeah.